The secret to beautiful bass lines? No, it's not a scale. Let me guess what happens when you play standards. You know some theory, you see the changes, and your hands immediately go into outline mode. It's not wrong, but it can start to feel like you're playing a chord progression and not a song. And then you wonder why your lines sound a bit empty, even though you're doing everything correct. That's exactly what I caught myself doing again recently. And it reminded me of one simple practice shift that brings the tune back into the center. So your lines start sounding connected, intentional, and honestly, just more beautiful. So in this episode, I'll walk you through it like I would in a lesson. I'll play it on the bass, we'll look at the lead sheet, I'll reference a recording, and I'll give you a simple 3-step way to make your improvisation sound like it belongs to the tune, not just the changes. Are you ready for this? I'm Sascha on bass. Let's go. Fellow sufferer, welcome to podcast number 12. Album of the week is East Coast Love Affair from Rosenwinkel. An amazing trio jazz album with Kurt Rosenwinkel on guitar, Avishai Cohn on bass, and Jorge Rossi on drums. I've been listening to this album for almost 20 years. It inspired me a lot, mostly since bass player Avishai Cohn has a special style of playing, accompanying in that album, and that is basically he's doing broken time playing, and this is where he does not. It's a style where you don't play straight to walking bass patterns or 2-beat patterns or the basic Latin feel. He explores the comping of his musicians more freely. He's playing more fills. It's almost solo-esque, and actually Scott LaFaro started this, I believe, in Bill Evans' trio album Portrait in Jazz from 1959. So that was mind-blowing what Scott LaFaro and Bill Evans together did there, because the bass all of a sudden wasn't playing this just 2-beat or walking bass anymore. He was playing more freely, and this is exactly what Avishai Cohn does on this record, and I love it very much. It inspired me a lot. So check that album. It's my recommendation for the week, and let me know what your album of the week is this week. And there's a reason why I picked this album, and that is because recently Rick Beato published an interview with Kurt Rosenwinkel. I watched it this week, and Rick Beato asked Kurt Rosenwinkel, how I would pronounce it, since the name or the words are German. Rick Beato asked Kurt Rosenwinkel if he thinks that it is important to play and practice standards. And listen what Kurt Rosenwinkel answered.
Oh, I think it's important actually to play those tunes and learn those tunes, because there's so many lessons in each one of them. You know, I think that's one of the best ways I've found to learn is to learn tunes, and you know, you'll be confronted with certain situations that'll force you to learn a voicing in a particular place with a particular note on the top of the chord that you wouldn't otherwise be forced to, play, like in Ugly Beauty, a tune of Monk's, he ends it on the 1 with it's in D flat, and the last note is D flat, and it's like, it's a real challenge to come up with a voicing for that chord that doesn't sound bland.
Doesn't sound like a straight major chord with the root on the top.
Yeah, so so that little problems like that might make you discover something like,
love that. Get that flat 9 in there.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
So that really made me think if I should practice my playing standards differently, because I told you I have a new practice routine, and I'm playing standards every day for a chunk of 30 minutes, and I am playing them simulating as if I was in a jazz jam session. I have my backing tracks from Phil Wilkinson, playing jazz tracks, real nice backing tracks for bass, and I just play one standard after another, do some comping, walking bass, 2-beat feel, everything around the neck, then go into solos for a few choruses and go back to comping again. So in order to get myself in shape again, since I didn't practice so much last year. But listening to Kurt Rosenwinkel, I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to dig deeper into standards while practicing them. And that reminded me of something a bass fella said a few years ago. Maybe you know that guy. Listen to this.
Well, I was told, like at a very young age to learn, first thing was to learn the melody to every tune, which I feel is like ultra important. Most bass players, most musicians, not just on the bass, but on their particular given instrument, will usually play just the bass part or just the piano part. I mean, the same thing goes for piano players. They should know the bass part too, at least, or whatever. Right. But the main thing is the melody, I feel, that most bass players are missing. Because they'll know the bass part, or whatever, they'll be playing that stuff, and there could be a melody on top, which, once you know that, especially when it comes to playing change.
Yeah, just play the melody. And yesterday morning I started doing this. I picked a standard, and the standard I picked was All or Nothing at All. And Kurt Rosenwinkel does a version on the East Coast Love Affair album I just mentioned. And so I sit down and I take the melody, and I learn the melody. It's a simple one, it's not Donna Lee. And I played it, I improvised with it, and very quickly I recognize, okay, here's the thing. This is not a new concept for me. I like the concept of playing with the melody, but sometimes with all the information you have, it's very nice to get reminded of one idea, and this was very nice. The benefits I noticed so quickly. I thought, I have to do the next podcast about this, So today I will give you 3 steps how you can make your lines more beautiful, give them more depth, and connect them to the tune you're actually playing. I'm gonna show it to you on the bass very soon. So this goes out to Mobembo. Mobembo, you called me on this, so now I'm playing the bass today. So in exchange, I would like to know if this is your real name, okay? You can write it down in the comments. So, okay. So let's start. As first step I want you to take is learning the melody of a given tune. So, and if you learn a melody from a jazz standard, like I have the real book right here. Can you see that? So, don't know if this is in focus, but if you have the real book right here, or with any tune, the melody is written out. But the way the melody is written out, nobody will play it like this. It's basically a way I understand to write down the information of the most important information of the melody with almost no articulation. So you as a jazz musician or an improviser are free to interpret the melody as you want to. So that you learn the most important intervals of the song and get an idea of what the song is about, which notes. So, and what I want to do right now is I want to show you how the melody written in the book sounds like with no articulation. If you like content like this, then join my Next Level Letter, my free weekly newsletter with brief micro lessons on jazz harmony, technique, practice hacks and mindset. It's for bass players who want to reach a professional level and for working pros who want to maintain and improve their abilities. Go right here. So this is it. Let me do a little break for tuning my bass again. So the first step for you is to learn a melody and start playing it the way you would like to play it, to paraphrase it. And there are different parameters that you can apply, you know, like stretching the melody, compressing it, adding notes, using rhythmic displacement, a lot of it. But actually, when I play it, I don't think in terms of parameters, you know. I try to learn the melody, understand it, sing it a bit, and then just play with it as I feel it, you know, with improvisation and playing. It's such a great thing that we really can play with ideas. And I mean play in the sense of the word, like children are playing in the sandbox. And this is what you can do here. I'm very much inspired by the melody by Kurt Rosenwinkel, because I think I mostly heard his version. And now I'm gonna play it with the way I like it, the way I feel it, okay? And I don't know what happens. I have some ideas what I'm doing all the time, what I'm feeling, but every time is a little different. So I hope I don't fuck it up this time. And let's give it a try. So now I'm playing the melody paraphrased in my way, and this is your first step for you. This backing track, by the way, is by a YouTube channel. I stole from a YouTube channel that's called JGC. Need to have a look. JGC Playlongs, and there is also a internet a web page that's called jazzguitarcomprehensive.com, where you can purchase those backing tracks. Okay, again, All or Nothing at All, paraphrased melody. Yeah, so you could hear I was doing two versions basically, and although this is a bit forced because I'm playing this to you and I'm trying to demonstrate a certain way, it was kind of authentic, and I did some mistakes here and there, but I think the melody came across and I did it in my way. So this is the first step, and the second step now is, and therefore I want to take a look at the lead sheet itself. The second step is checking the central melody notes or the structure notes. I don't know if these are ultimate musical terms, but I mean the central melody notes that carry the tune, the melody. So this is the lead sheet of All or Nothing at All. I looked up different version in the fake book and the real book 3, I guess it was. This is from the real book 1, the new real book 1. And All or Nothing at All has 64 bars. It's basically like two forms, mostly a form AABA form has 32 bars, and this one has double of it. And this is noted as A, B, C, D. But I figure one could also say it's an AABA form, since A, B, and D are pretty much the same. Only the endings are slightly variations. So, okay. I don't want to go deeply into the chords here because that's not what this video is about. The chords are fairly simple, nothing very difficult happening here. I want to show these center melodic notes within the melody, and I marked them here red for you to see it, because with these notes you can carry the meaning and the color of the melody of the head. Here with this song, in the first 4 bars, it's an E. We have some slight variations here. This is and the melody actually could live without that articulation there. So because these notes are so strong, we have an E here on this whole 4 bars. In the second staff, bar 5, we still are with the E, and I think the E could carry these 2 bars also, before it goes to another of those notes, and this is the D for the B flat 9 chord. So next 4 bars, it stays with D until here, where we switch to an A, or the melody switches to an A. And later on here, this is like a passing tone, I would say, the B, but it's kind of very nice, and it is important, I think. Next staff, we have G. And G carries for the whole 4 bars. And then we are in the B part, which is the A and B is almost identical. The only difference is that here in the end of A part, we have a 2-5 to A, and in the B part, we have a 2-5 in the end to A flat. That's the difference. So therefore, I think one could make it a bit easier and call it AABA. However, in the B section or A, it's all the same. E. Sorry, I'm not writing here. E. Then here in the third staff of that part, we switch to D and to A, and then the last 4 bars we have G, carrying that tune, that part. Now the C section, slightly different chords we have here. We move to an A flat major 7 chord, and yeah, that's really the sound of those 8 bars, I think. Yeah, before it's all minor sounding, or mostly minor sounding, and this is a major sound. One can clearly hear this. So we start with the third of the A flat major 7 with a C, carries the melody here. We don't care too much for those variations. I mean, for you at home, you should learn the melody with all its variations. Don't get me wrong. This is step 2, is checking these central melody notes of the melody. Next staff, still C. And here we go for a G on the E flat 7. Next staff, or next 4 bars, we switch to the B of that whole 2/5-ish 4 bars, still B, and in the last 4 bars of that section we have A flat, moving to G. And then the D part, which is basically again almost the same like A and B part. So we have again E, D, A. Here we have a B, and it ends with C. So, I'm sorry. If we look at on the tune with these structure notes or central melody notes, how much notes do we have? We have E, D, A, B, G, repeats, C, G, B flat, A flat. Here the same again with the C. So how many notes are this? 6, 7? So calling these notes the central melodic notes. I'm gonna show them to you right now, playing the tune to the backing track again, and instead of playing the whole melody, I will only play these notes we just saw there on the lead sheet, okay? Backing track back on. Only these few notes. E, 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 B flat, we play D, still D, A, G, G, and now the B section. E, next staff, E, turn to D, D, C section, A flat major 7, G on the E flat 7, B flat on the B flat minor 7, A flat on F minor, G, last part, last section D, and I'm playing E on the A minor, D, again D, A, and last staff, C. Let me do this again. So that is so clear, isn't it? How strong these notes are. All right. Got a cut. If this is helpful, then get my next level letter. Free weekly micro lessons you can actually use. Jazz harmony, technique, practice hacks and mindset. Built for players aiming for professional level and for professionals who want to stay sharp and keep improving. Go right here. Okay, so in step 3, this is the interesting part. Now I want you to improvise over the tune, and you try to anchor your improvisation around these strong melody notes we just discussed. In my case, I'm doing this with All or Nothing at All. You can do this with any standard. And yeah, instead of, usually I would go, when I look at the lead sheet, I would try to outline chords, find scales that fit to it, and apply a kind of musical phrasing or what I feel, so it sounds nice. And now I will focus first on these strong notes and build my improvisation around them, trying to give the whole thing more depth and more connection to the tune. Let's see how that works out. I guess I'm gonna take at least a second chorus to get warm with it all, since it's an improvisation. Well, let's give it a try. Okay. So you noticed I had some difficulties here and there, but I figure if I give myself a few rounds of this, I really come up with nice ideas. And if you do this for some rounds, as a practice, at best you would do learn a melody, paraphrase it, check these notes, these structure center notes, and then just play around it. You get a sense of how much you can use it, how much not. When you can get away from them or get close to them, using them more or using them less, blending in more of other improvisation that you would do regularly, and coming back sometimes to these notes or even to really parts of the whole melody. So this really can give nice ideas for your improvisation, for your practice, and can make this, beautiful musically and connected, more deeply connected to the standard you're playing, instead of just playing the changes, really trying to playing the standard. So you can do this with any standard. All the things you are, Autumn Leaves, Girl from Ipanema, the classic one. For beginning, maybe it's more easy to choose a standard that has a melody that doesn't use too much notes. But you can also do it with things like a bebop tune, like Donna Lee. I guess it's a bit more difficult. I haven't done it, but I could. It just would take more time. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this is a nice little idea. Take any standard, check the melody, paraphrase it in the way you like to, play with it, check the central melody notes in it, and improvise with them, using them as an anchor. Okay? Hope this was helpful. That's all for today. Wish you a good week. So have a good one, fellow sufferer. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.